David, if you had to give advice to someone who, was coming to the end of their term and, maybe in the same shoes as you are, right? They're about to get booted out because they got a limp, right? Or some reason, right there. All right. But if you were giving advice to someone who is thinking about starting a business and knowing now you're 2 years into this and you've gone through it all, how would you help that person who maybe is listening to this? How would you help them think about how to go about starting, right? Because I think that's the hardest thing for most people to start a business is they just can't get started. There's so much to be said for inertia. Once it starts moving, companies start to move, but a lot of people can't get started.
A couple of, I guess, smaller answers to this overall question. The first one is write down your strategy. So write it down. So you know that you can go back to this thing and say, I said I would do this. It's almost a contract with yourself to say, this is what we're actually trying to do with this beast. And that should incorporate a linkage. And if we're talking small business here, a linkage, subtly to your own personal life. Do not commit to starting a new enterprise or a new business if you think that it will not affect your home life. There's a distinction between the two, yes. But in the small business world, you end up doing everything for a while. You have to. You don't have the capital. You don't have the revenue coming in. Your margins might be really small. So you might be the website guy and the accounting person, and you might need to go pick vegetables from the forest, using our analogy from before, just to get things moving. But having that strategy to say, I planned by 6 months that I was going to offload this task and this task, or this responsibility to a third party. I was going to, have operations being run part-time by somebody. I was going to get objectivity through a mentoring program, whatever. But having that written down is absolutely crucial. I routinely go back to our strategy document and I go, we're not going to achieve that. What can I put in the fuel tank to get that back on track? Or we've oversubscribed in this area, we're overachieving. Can I wind back some of the effort that we're actually putting to keep that within the tolerance that we thought we'd work at, and go boost this up here? And being able to cross-reference that is absolutely crucial. So I guess the plan, understanding that it will affect your own personal life. These things are all interconnected. You can't get stressed out at work and then not expect it to stress you out at home, and vice versa. Which leads to the final point, which is partnerships. If you're a small business, you need to create enduring partnerships, both formal and informal, with other organizations in order to share some of the combined risk. In my world, I lent more towards ex-veteran organizations because I already had good reputation and relationships with those people. And they created their own businesses, which are very unique in their own right. But when I go to another potential client, I say, hey, look, I've got these capabilities in my back pocket, which can also, nest or interconnect with what you're talking about here. Projects being an example. I've got other partnering organizations, which I know the quality of their work because they come from similar stock. I've got very good working relationships, and for all intents and purposes, they're part of my team anyway. And it increases my overall capability to market. Yeah. I can roll in with a team effect, and that is huge. Being able to
without carrying the payroll as a new
without carrying the payroll.
Yeah.
And they win too, because they'll get, revenue when I score a project, and when they score a project, vice versa. So sharing risk across a broader portfolio of partnering organizations is a very valuable tool. And, it all links back to what we were talking about before, which was the ability to network and build rapport. Yeah. We've got so many companies behind Eighth Mile looking out for us, and we look out for them. And sometimes that looks like, I got a project. I'm actually just going to give you this project. Off you go. Good luck to you. You're a good mate of mine. Enjoy that. I know you need that more than we need it right now.
Yeah.
but those things always come back.
Yeah.
Built on trust, they always come back. And a couple of weeks, maybe a month, maybe 6 months will pass. Hey Dave, I've got an opportunity or somebody I want to introduce you to. Okay, let's have a chat. But it's all sharing the load and the risk across multiple organizations. And subcontracting is a very powerful mechanism to do that. And we're very honest about our clients. We say, hey, look, there are other veteran organizations that are part of our team for all intents and purposes. But from your perspective, you'll just be dealing with me, Dave Neal from 8th Mile. It's an 8th Mile effect. Let us deal with all the back-end administration. But you'll get the capability you want up and raised, and that's our responsibility to you. And they're fine with that. They understand it.
Yeah, and you give a better solution when you do that. When you get someone else has their lane that they're expert at, and you can bring those capabilities in, and you don't feel that pressure of having to generate a return on that salary that might not be used all the time. I personally use freelancers all the time and contractors, and they're critical, right? They keep your stress levels down, but you can go to them when you need help. It's a very smart way for you to start the business.
Oh, you're probably seeing over my left shoulder, accountability. There's a level of accountability there too when we talk about subcontract arrangements, because ultimately if they let you down, they're not going to get pulled into the next project or the next project. So everyone really does lean in because there's no assumption that you'll get called again.
Yeah.